Alright, so this video is about the home office deduction and how I do it for my business. So what I've got here is a spreadsheet, and what I've done is calculate out, if we start up here, I've calculated out the total square footage of the house, the total square footage of the garage, and the total square footage of the crawl space. So I've got a total square footage number here, and then I've got total square feet used by my business. I use the basement and the mechanical room, I use the garage, and I use the crawl space. And so my total square footage used by my business is 1,162 square feet, almost half of my total square footage, 42% in fact. Over here I've got my rent. Yes, I live in a high rent area. Not that I'm wealthy and am renting a mansion. I am living in a crappy 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, if you're curious about that. And let's see. And so what I do is every year I go back and I take all 12 of my gas bills and I average them out. I do the same thing with my electricity and then my water, sewer, and renter's insurance. And I get an average, a 12-month average for each of those expenses. And so what I come up with here is my total monthly cost, my personal cost to live where I live. And then this number here is my total cost to live here multiplied by the percentage that I use for business. And I get this number here, 1,150.57 cents. And this is how much I pay per year, or my business pays per month, and then this is how much my business will pay per year for this year. And this will change every year, so we update it. Rent goes up, gas goes up, electric goes up, water, sewer goes up, insurance, everything goes up, right? And so that's how I get my my number that my business pays me every month to basically rent this portion of my home to work out of. And then this is just paid to me as a reimbursement, but it also shows up as an expense on my books. And so what that essentially means is that about half, not quite half, but close to half of my rent is being paid by my business and is an expense to my business, which means I don't pay tax on it. So about half of my rent is paid by my business before tax. So not a bad little situation to have a home-based business, have your business pay some of your rent, and have that money be pre-tax money. So I'll show you the next sheet here. That's how I calculate it. And then this is called an accountable plan and a company reimbursement policy. I got this from my accountant. And essentially what it is it's a couple of rules that says, hey, yep, this company can reimburse its employees for business and professional expenses. And then it kind of gives some rules, submittal of dates, all that kind of stuff. Include your receipts, use of home office, travel expenses, automobile expenses, equipment and supplies, all the stuff that you pay for personally, which I pay personally for my rent, becomes a reimbursement. And so every month I fill one of these out. I print it out and just write it down, but essentially what you've got is like this here. You've got home office and 1150 something. You've got your, I went to Sam's Club. And I bought batteries that I use in my tools and flashlights and stuff, and so that was like $75. And then, you know, I bought some oil for my generator. Paid cash out of pocket for it. It's like $8.58, something like that. And down here you do your miles, 392 miles for the month, for the previous month. And I never do like the wear. I keep track of that separately, as you can see in my other video. But what I essentially do here is I take my 392 times the mileage rate. Then over here you can do that, 392 times 56 cents, 219.52. And then you just total up your reimbursable expenses here. You know, you fill all this out and you cut yourself a check or transfer that amount of money to your personal bank account. And that is, all of these are non-tax because you've used after-tax money to pay for these expenses, so they're not getting taxed again. And they become an expense on your books, which is going to save you some tax on your business income as well. So that's the way that works. If you guys are interested in, you know, getting a copy of any of this, let me know and I can make it available. But just thought you'd be interested in seeing how I deal with the home office expense and reimbursement on my little handyman business.